we?
That's a very short song. It's a bit too short for its own good, and it's definitely too short for our good, isn't it, Fearne?
It's way too short because we were mid-convo.
We've not even really said hello. We've not seen each other for ages. Fearne, it's over to you. Let's do this.
Our next guest is like a human happy place, whether she's on your radio, your telly, your favourite podcast, the Tesco's ad, or your bookshelf.
Tesco Mobile.
Her best-selling novel, Little Things, is out now in paperback. So please welcome a woman with talent to burn. It's Fearne Cotton.
Let's hear it for Fearne, everyone.
Cheer.
We love you, Cotton, we do. We love you, Cotton, we do. We love you, Cotton, we do. Especially in baby powder pale blue.
Yes.
Watch this morning's interview live. You can watch this live. You can see what Fearne's wearing.
Benson Boone t-shirt.
You can see what I've just changed into. Good. Simply head to the Virgin Radio app and press watch live now, and you can watch Fearne and myself live. Just did my hair because I didn't realise we were on, but okay, that's that done. Charlie Brown cap back on. All good to go. How are you?
I'm really good, yeah.
You are the best.
I am good. I'm sort of slightly overwhelmed by work stuff going on, but fine. You know that feeling.
So, I mean, you're on to talk about your book. Give us your other top 3 work headlines.
Well, we've got the Happy Place Festivals on the way.
Yes.
The first one in London is in 3 weeks. So this is where I start to get stressed about the weather and if everyone's going to enjoy it and all of that. So I'm slightly stressed about that, but excited. And then the next one's in Manchester. Podcast is every week and all the other bits and bobs that we're doing. And then the paperback of Scripted is now out.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You say you're busy and then you have time to write a novel, an actual novel, a flipping proper novel that's really, really good.
That's really lovely of you.
Please tell me that you too have thought about opening an online crystal shop called Quartz You Can.
Ridiculous. I grew up in the suburbs of London and my mum and auntie both love that kind of shop where there's like wind chimes and a big bowl of crystals and incense. They're both always wafting incense about, my mum and auntie. So I had to include that in the book.
Yeah, so basically Lily is the main character, Jade's sister, troublesome sister, who's a right pain in where the sun don't shine. Yeah. And she's coming up with all these ruses, all these side hustles, which her mum and dad adore her for. And there is poor Jade, the main character, grafting, super talented, super gorgeous human being, getting overshadowed as her sister comes up with these sort of limp, super shallow, super fragile, really ill thought through companies just because they've got a catchy title.
Correct.
Like Quartz You Can. That's so funny. Why did you come up with Quartz You Can?
I don't know. I sort of was just thinking, what would be the worst name for a crystal shop?
Did you come up with some others as well?
Oh, there was all sorts of ones. And for her...
What about Crystal Do?
Oh, that's good. I like that. I mean, there are many more iterations of terrible crystal shop names.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I can't believe you read it. I'm so chuffed.
Thank you. Loved it. I loved it.
I'm so glad.
And I've got to spend the whole of today in town, which I never do. But there's this thing tonight which I've got to go to, and so I'm going to. I remember I have a similar day like this every year, and I usually go into Hyde Park. It's usually a nice day, bizarrely, and I usually go into Hyde Park and read a book under a tree. And today it'll be the rest of yours.
And this is the weather.
This is the weather.
This is the day to sit in the park and read a book.
So tell us about Jade. My daughter's called Jade, so straight away I fell in love with the character, and I thought, I hope she's nice. She's super nice.
Good egg.
She's too nice for her own good.
She is. She's a bit of a people pleaser, and that's her main issue. And I think many of us suffer with that, sort of saying yes when we mean no, and letting other people tell us how things should be. That's definitely a bit of a learning curve I've been on. So
I've never had an issue.
No, I don't suppose you have.
I'm sort of the opposite. We need to meet in the middle.
And that's why we love you.
Yeah, thanks.
So I think many people feel like that. So Jade definitely has the propensity to be a bit of a people pleaser. And then I had this sort of wacky idea when I was out running one day. And I was thinking, what would happen if I looked on the ground and I saw a big wad of paper and it was a script with a scene from my life in it? And I don't know why I thought that. But then I was like, well, this is quite a good idea for possibly a book. So that's what happens to Jade. She starts finding these scripts that are strewn around the place, and they have scenes from her future life in.
And that's the key. It's got to be the future.
It's the future, and it's always within that 24 hours. So she's obviously really freaked out at first, like, what on earth is this? And then, obviously 24 hours later-ish, that scene unfolds, and she can't veer from the script that she's previously read. She really tries, and these scripts sort of give her clarity as to how much of a people pleaser she's being. So then the whole sort of crux of the book is her trying to challenge these scripts. steps and trying to find her own voice, say what she really thinks and what she wants to do, and hopefully the reader will sort of get that message and be on that journey with Jade.
Right, now I'm exactly 100 pages in because the chapter I was on finished at 100 pages, and it's where the first major pivot is in the book. And I said it earlier on, and I shouldn't have said it. It's a bit of a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it now, but it's to do with the script and some Tipex. Let's just leave.
Yes.
Is that enough? Is that too much?
That's enough.
All right. And now 100 pages in, there are some baddies.
Yeah.
The biggest baddie 100 pages in. Whether there's redemption in the next few hundred pages, I don't know, but I'm going to find out under a tree today in Hyde Park with some cold, refreshing, non-alcoholic hydration. Adam seems to be the biggest baddie so far. Colin seems to be a bit of a baddie.
Yeah.
Who's Adam? Who's Colin? And let's fill in some characters in between.
Okay, so Adam is her boyfriend, and he doesn't really have any respect for her. They're kind of just stuck in a bit of a rut in their relationship, but she's certainly not challenging the parts of his personality or their dynamic that she doesn't love. So she's just going with it. So that's an issue for her.
And he started the micro-criticism of gaslighting, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of gaslighting her, and he just has no respect for her whatsoever, but he's kind of coasting along in the relationship. And then you've got Lily, who is her extremely narcissistic sister. And that was a really fun character to write because I've got the loveliest brother ever. So this was pure fantasy for me, writing this evil sister character, because I do not have that in my life. I have a gorgeous brother. And then you've got Colin, who's her boss at work, who again, slightly chauvinistic, manipulative, patronising, and she doesn't feel like she's got the confidence or the place in the work setting to sort of
her
stand
job
up.
is really cool.
Her job's so cool.
Her workmates are really cool and really nice.
And they're lovely. Yeah, so she's a set designer, and that job is completely based on my cousin Shannon, who is a set designer. So I was sort of, my cousin's so cool. I'm like the squarest square next to her.
No,
so
you're
I was
not.
when you see my cousin, she's just very cool, and all her friends are cool.
How'd you get to be like that?
I don't know. I want to be like my cousin.
Can she give some seminars on that, please?
Yeah,
I mean, Tony Robbins is fine, but I want to go to
She's got a tiny
Shannon's.
fringe and lots of piercings and cool tattoos, and she's just cool. She's a cool person. So I basically sort of stalked her Instagram account, quizzed her a lot about the job, and then built this world around that. And it's a very fun, vibrant, colourful job.
I want to go to the warehouse where they make all these sets.
Me too.
They play banging music.
Yeah.
They got the coffee on the go all the time, the gold blend or
What
whatever
a gig.
it is.
We're in the wrong job.
Yeah, well, we're sort of in the wrong job.
And also, I guess actually part of it was based on, my dad was a sign writer for the entirety of his career.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I'd go to this massive warehouse in Wembley where his sort of first sign writing gig was, and I'd just sit there and watch them all paint by hand. It was all done by hand back in the day. And then it moved to sort of acrylic machinery down the line, which he was a bit upset about. But he did that for the entirety of his career.
So it's fine to come up with the characters, but obviously then the story's got to chug along.
Yeah.
You say you were out running, which is how she finds her first script.
Yes.
Because she's out running as well. And you say, I mean, you know, you're running. We both run. We're very physical. We try and keep active. We try and keep well. But one of the things that doesn't happen to me when I'm running is I don't think of ideas, but I am thought. I don't think, but I am thought. Ideas tend to rise up. Was that how this came to you? Or did you go on a run trying to think of, I need to write a book, I want to write a book?
Absolutely not. No, I think I'm the same as you. I don't set out with I've got to solve this problem by the end of the run or think of this idea. On that run, I wasn't thinking of anything. I was just sort of letting thoughts come and go. And I think that's when you have the best ideas, when you're not trying.
Well, the best ideas ever you.
Yes,
That's
correct.
the thing, isn't it?
Because I wasn't planning on writing fiction. I was really happy writing non-fiction, and I was potentially trying to work out the edges of a non-fiction idea. And then this landed. I didn't even have a publishing deal, but I had the idea. So I started writing the book, and I didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell my literary agent, didn't tell my manager. I told one friend who I trust, and she said, I think it's got legs, just keep writing it.
Right.
So I wrote maybe 40,000 words without telling anyone, which could have been a massive waste of time if it had flopped. And then luckily I managed to get a publishing deal and then fine-tuned it for about a year. I worked on sort of editing it and getting it up to scratch.
Right, so her mum, Jade's mum, likes a drink.
Yes.
Jade's dad is sort of, he's not...
Bit of a wide boy.
Yeah, he's not sort of absent without leave, but he's sort of halfway in between, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, and he's got a new wife, stepmom.
Yeah.
You've all got all that going on as well.
Yeah. She actually gets on with her stepmom pretty well, but I think she ends up slightly parenting her mum.
Yeah. Slightly?
Yeah, she's kind of parenting her mum, and her mum isn't necessarily classed as an alcoholic. She's in that sort of grey area of drinking a bit too much but not really knowing that about herself. So Jade worries about her quite a lot but doesn't feel she can confront her mum about it. So it's kind of, that's a bit of a tricky situation.
When you come up with an idea in the book like this, that was a phase. Jade wafted the comment away with her hand. Soph, what is going on? Do you think I'm being stalked? What? Well, yeah, maybe it feels weird. But is it weirder than when you drunkenly confess to having fantasies about Alan Sugar?
Ridiculous.
Brilliant.
Very random.
And where's that come from?
I have no idea. I think a lot of the time it is just like the first person that comes into your head you write down, and for some reason I was thinking about Alan Sugar.
Of course you can. Fantasies about Alan Sugar. I mean, did you stop at the? That's funny. Did you stop there, or did you think?
I mean, I think you can sometimes over-egg everything, and I could still be editing that book now if I hadn't have had a deadline, because you just want to make it as good as you possibly can. But I think, much like I guess when you're doing a painting, you have to go, right, that's it. I'm done. I'm putting a full stop on it. It's finished.
Yeah, well, I've underlined this as well. Just then, Jade's phone rang. I'm fine, JD. What are you worrying about? So pinged. This is her mum again. I'm fine, JD. What are you worrying about? Just woke up, needed a bit of a lie down, love. Mum. Jade sighed, feeling a familiar cocktail of relief and frustration. She flipped the kettle on, dropped a tea bag into the cup, and leaned on the worktop, waiting for the water to pour, thinking about her script. She let her mind focus on her sister. Tonight, everything was going to change. Tonight, she would take back control.
Yeah.
Ba, ba, ba.
Yeah, that's the first point where she really starts to want to exercise her own voice and put her thoughts out there.
It's time to get the Tipp-Ex out, everybody.
Exciting.
What have I done here? Oh yeah, this is funny. What's wrong with brown bridesmaid dresses?
I mean, nothing, but I think...
What do you mean? No, there's like 7 pages of what's wrong with them.
I mean, I've been a bridesmaid once,
yes.
And you are completely out of control. It was actually white, but I didn't love my dress because it didn't have straps, and I've got my nan's big shoulders, so I was like, oh my God, but you have to wear the dress. So Jade did not want to wear a brown bridesmaid dress.
I didn't know until somebody texted the show or WhatsApped the show a couple of months ago about the whole bridesmaids philosophy. And maybe this was just them, but it explained a lot in my stupid head, which was, the dresses have to be a bit, I mean, what would you describe them as? The bridesmaids' dresses have to be a little bit unflattering, I'm sure there's a less clumsy word.
The bride needs to shine.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bloke.
They're often just sort of a bit muted and like background noise.
And does that happen? Is that a tacit thing between the bride and the bridesmaids? Does the bride go, "Here's your dresses"? Ha 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 ha.
I mean, some might if they're awful humans.
Yeah, but you want, because the bridesmaids. But you want to
shine.
I know the bride wants to shine, but I mean, have you been to a wedding where the bridesmaids look killer as well in matching dresses? Because now thinking about it, I haven't. Have you, Tills? You have?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I actually, yesterday I drove past, the registry office on...
Marylebone Road?
Yeah, Marylebone Road. And there was the coolest wedding going on, and everyone was wearing the most colourful outfits. I think the bride was in green and the bridesmaids are in orange, and I was like... Cool. That is a vibe. I'm here for it. And everyone looked great. Yeah. But I wasn't actually at that wedding. I was just voyeuristically looking on.
There's two. There's Marylebone Registry Office and there's Chelsea Registry Office.
Yeah, they're great to drive past.
Because they got steps.
Yeah, and everyone beats their horn. It's so fun.
You need steps.
You need steps.
Yeah. This is like screaming to be made into a film.
Oh, I love nothing more. Like, that is my dream.
But it's my so dream and ambition. It's so image-led, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I am a very visual person. There is this sort of weird moment where there's a bit of a divide between having the idea, like visualising it in your head, and then trying to make that feel the same on a page. You think it's going to be really easy, and that was so challenging for me. And that's probably the thing that I worked hardest at. It's... God, I really underestimated how much work it would take to write fiction, but I loved every minute.
Look at this. I've just literally, you saw me flick to this page. I'm sticking a pin in the, whatever you stick a pin in, on page 25, because this is what you need to be able to do to write a novel. So this is like, here's 3 lines, just randomly picked, just now, this second. Sophie blew out a stream of smoke that flitted past her neat strawberry blonde bob. Weird in what way, she thought. Her lips curled back around her cigarette. That's proper writing. Because that's descriptive, but it's not too flowery. It's really important. You know, obviously you read loads because
I'm an absolute bookworm.
They stood outside the large sliding doors, Sophie drawing in smoke from her roll-up, a ray of faint sunshine breaking through the clouds to illuminate their faces. And then you get into dialogue, because that could go on too much now. You know, that would be one more sentence too many. Then you get, It's like you've been doing it forever.
Well, I don't know. I can only improve and get better. You know, I love reading good fiction. There's nothing better. I just read the new Lisa Jewell book and I couldn't put it down, and it's my dream to be as good as that one day. And all you can do is keep writing and hope that you just get better and better and hone that skill, I guess.
Now, how many books have you written in total?
15 maybe? 14, 15.
I always say this when Fearne comes on the show. I don't know if she likes it or not, but she's got her own shelf in foils.
I love having my own shelf.
She does have her own Fearne Cotton shelf in the self-help or self-development section, whatever it's called. She's got her own shelf.
I'm writing a new book at the moment, actually, which I'm excited about.
Go on, tell us about that.
I don't know if I can,
Tell us a bit.
But it's non-fiction.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly self-help because
it's very
we just talked about your shelf.
It's very self-helpy and it's helping me massively. And it's
Do you know what it's going to be called?
Flying out of me. I know what it's going to be called.
Do you want to tell us?
I can't say.
No, it's fair enough. I don't mind.
I'll get in trouble. I know you don't mind.
I
know you don't mind, but my publishers will mind.
No, but I don't mind if you don't.
Likely.
I don't mind if you don't. I don't. I mean, it's good that you're talking about it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, and it feels. It's quite a hard book to write. I'm writing about stuff that I'm finding really tricky, which I think means I need to write it.
Of course you do. But you're good at all this stuff. You know, you're very honest with yourself, which is why you're very authentic. And I was listening to something about authenticity yesterday from my favourite monk, who's this guy called Brother Fapu, who's an abbot in Plum Village.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh, as good as it gets. Literally as good as it gets. Yeah. And he was saying it's so important. He came over to give a talk here last year, Q&A session. And he was really nervous. He's brilliant, but he was nervous, which is why he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And so he remembered all his practices, and so he sat there, you know, and he did a bit of breath work, and then he walked on stage, and he didn't really want to do it, but he knew he had to do it because it's why he's a monk.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic because, you know, he goes into retreat, and it went so well that afterwards he received literally hundreds of interview requests, and he said, and this was like half an hour afterwards, because loads of journalists in the audience says, look, we want to interview for this, front page of the Times magazine, and he said he was so tempted, and then he realized, no, this is the opposite of what your 22 years of practice. Your ego's now kicked in massively, which is why he needs to practice. And then he said, well, maybe I'll do a couple of interviews. And then he thought, no, I can't, because I'm here to give 2 talks. And if I give more of myself over, then there'll be less of me in the second talk and my authenticity will take a knock. And therefore, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
And I think you're like that.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know about that, but
You are busy. Maybe you're, you know, can I say this as your mate? Maybe you're a bit too busy sometimes, but so am I.
A bit too busy without a doubt. And definitely ego kicks in all the time. You know, it's, you know, you do get carried away, I think, with whether it's people giving you praise or a project going well. I think it's very hard to completely eliminate that. But I'm definitely aware of those moments. And also, I think I've dealt with enough pitfalls or tricky times to not believe any hype.
Yeah, you're like our guide. You're like our Mel Robbins. You know, because
I'll take it.
Because the thing about Melly, she wrote like
Mel.
She wrote this killer book and then suffered again from all the things, all the pitfalls, is a useful word, all the turbulence that she wrote about getting over in her first book.
Yeah.
And then she ended up drinking herself half to death after writing a hit self-help book.
Yeah.
You know, and why would we stop making mistakes? The whole point about suffering is, and which is called life, is you feel it more once you begin to deal with it. You don't get less of it, you get more of it, which is the healing.
Without a doubt. And I think it's that thing of, I was sort of writing a bit about this morning before I came here. Whatever you resist persists.
Yeah.
And I think that is so true, that when we don't want to look at the tough stuff or the painful things in the past or the stuff that we know we don't like about ourselves, it just builds in momentum and potency. And actually, that's what I think this book that I'm currently trying to write is circling around is like looking at those bits of ourselves and our past and finding, it doesn't have to be, I guess, complete acceptance, but a level of, I guess, comfort to be able to sit in the discomfort.
Yeah, well, acceptance is interesting, isn't it, as a word? You can surrender to something without accepting it because it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like you say, what you resist persists. What you surrender to, you can then explode. Now, nobody wants to be next to a bomb when it goes off, least of all, be responsible for detonating it or pushing the button. But once something explodes, it does dissipate.
Yeah, it does.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. There's sunshine at the end of the storm. All this kind of stuff, and as we were saying before, you have to face it.
You do. You got to feel it, and that's the scary
and
bit.
it doesn't go. But the thing is that the rub is it doesn't go away. It just keeps on coming.
Yeah.
But you get better at it. And that's life, isn't it?
It is. I've definitely experienced that, with stuff that I really didn't want to look at in my past and things that I was just going, fingers in ears, la, 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 don't want to think about it. And the more I sort of normalise that era of my life or the things that I found very tricky, it just sort of dilutes it all. Not completely. I'm still, I go to therapy every week and I'm still sort of, wanting to grow and learn and get comfier in the discomfort, but it certainly takes a punch out of it, I'd say.
Yeah. I can't wait to read what Jade learns, because I bet a lot of what we're talking about makes its way into the second half of this book.
Without a doubt.
See, that's a really clever way of conveying useful information.
Yeah, it was fun to kind of get the sort of messaging I'd put in a non-fiction into a fiction, but hopefully still make it entertaining and funny.
Smart move. Wouldn't it be interesting if this book that you're writing, which is non-fiction, becomes the notes for your next work of fiction?
It could very well do, because I've also started writing another fiction at the same time, which is a terrible idea to do.
Because you're not busy enough, are you?
Time, but two ideas came to me, so I'm just trying to muddle my way through them both.
Well, you're the best. You're the best.
Oh, you're the best. So I appreciate you, Chris.
Well, I appreciate you, Fearne, and I've missed you a lot, and it's great to see you again. It's great to be in your energy. Isn't it wonderful that you'll be going to bookish festivals and Q&Aing to do with a novel as opposed to a non-fiction book?
It's been so fun. Like, the whole experience has been just
you're with a different
adorable.
gang.
I love it.
Well, actually, similar gang, because Bryony's now writing novels, isn't she?
Yeah, I love Bryony. She's the best.
Great. Good to see you. Anything else you want to get out there?
Just come to the Happy Place Festival as well, because
where are tickets available for Happy Place?
You can go to our website, happyplaceofficial.co.uk.
I love the fact you worry about the weather, because I worry about the weather with Carfest all the time. But there's nothing we can do about
What's the point in worrying? I go
it.
to sleep worrying about it. It's like, it is pointless.
Yeah.
Why am I worrying? And also, I want people to go and have a good time. It's like you're arranging the biggest party and you're responsible for everyone's experience.
Mad.
It's crazy.
In the UK, it's so dependent on the weather, but we still do it. Year in, year out, because we're mad.
What are we doing?
Yeah, and we'll take the hit if it does rain, and we'll suffer the sun scar of that going forward. But what is it? 3 weeks on Saturday?
Yeah, 3 weeks on Saturday, and you can do yoga, meditation. There's arts and crafts workshops. There's loads of talks, live podcasting, food, shopping. It's such a good vibe. For me, it's the only festival you leave feeling better than when you arrived.
Apart from Carfest. Which has a similar vibe going on. But no, you can say that because we got all the cars going on. But maybe not as much as yours, because yours is called Happy Place. We did have a running festival once, and people
I came.
Felt amazing after that, didn't they?
I loved it. I had the best time at your Rumfest. It was amazing.
I know.
Should do it again.
Well, no, it didn't work for various reasons, but we'll figure it out. Or maybe we'll do it again.
Yeah, you should.
So where do people go for Happy Place tickets?
So head to our website, or just literally...
What's called Happy Place?
Happy Place... Well, it's called Happy Place Festival. You can just Google that and it will come up straight away. It's the easiest way to remember.
Day tickets.
And you can get a ticket for the Saturday, the Sunday. London is in July.
Where is it?
Gunnersbury Park in London,
Nice.
12th and 13th of July.
Great
and then
venue.
we're in Cheshire, Tatton Park at the end of August. And we've got some amazing people there, like Millie McIntosh, Davina McCall, Jordan Stevens, Donna Ashworth, like amazing speakers doing
Proper
talks
people.
all day. Proper amazing speakers.
Good vibes.
Good vibes, Chris Evans.
Good vibes.
Yes.
Fearne Cotton. All right, now I've just checked the weater for 3 weeks' time in Gunnersbury Park. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Otherwise, Fearne will give you the money back as well.
No, I will not.
Anyway, listen, the book's out. It's called Scripted. It's great. We love it. Fearne Cotton, Scripted.
Are you playing Benson Boone?
Check it out.
Yes!
Yes, we are.
Yes!